turned the phone thing off while I was going, oh, I couldn't do it, man. It was mint.
Let's kick off anyway. So, hi guys, welcome to episode 30 of the Rokkit Podcast.
Big 3-0.
Big 3-0 with
Me, Ben.
me, Chris.
Me, the Mounts.
And me, Jace.
We're going to kick off talking a bit about the gaming BAFTAs. I believe.
Yeah.
I think we should start with the crowning.
Got the wrong attire on, haven't we, for the BAFTAs?
Get the suit on. No, we're going to have to start off with the.
We weren't there. Just to clarify.
We weren't there.
We weren't invited to the.
We
BAFTAs.
would like to be, but
Front row. We were there, front row. Don't worry.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, Destiny picked up the big game of the year.
Yeah. Deserved. No, guys. No.
Out of the selection that there was,
probably gifted is more the word than deserved.
The nominees weren't the best. I mean, I must admit, if you were putting it up against something like The Last of Us or GTA or anything along those lines, there's no chance. But given that there was
Mario Kart 8.
Mario Kart 8 was considered to be one of the best games of the year, I think.
Best game of the year? I think Smash Bros is better, actually.
Well, you'd think out of the choice of Nintendo games that might have been picked,
Was it?
but no.
Yeah, Mario 8 was it?
Mario
Same year,
Kart
wasn't
8
it?
was nominated, but yeah.
I fell out of love again with Destiny. It's just that it's the reward system is just too.
It's punishing.
Random number generated and punishing. Yeah.
I've been a day one Destiny player since September, like yourself, except for. Unlike yourself, I've not had a break. I've been playing Destiny constantly. I've been playing it.
Must hit this light.
I've hit the level cap, each time, but I've been playing weekly to try and get the drops. I'm only missing a couple of pieces of top level gear now, weapons.
Listen,
but it's
for
impossible.
For people that don't play Destiny, although I did max level.
No, you didn't.
Well, no.
You reached the XP
the soft cap.
Yeah, the soft
I
cap.
hit the soft cap. So for people that don't play Destiny, what rewards are there to doing the whole grind?
Basically, everybody wants the exotic weapons and armour.
Yeah.
And there's only... If you run 3 characters, there's about 15 fixed opportunities in a week where you can get an exotic drop. And I'm running 3 characters at the minute. And I'm only missing 2 pieces of gear, but it's completely random, supposedly. And I've got friends who've been playing the game for a month who've dropped the rarest pieces of gear already, and I've been playing since day one.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling.
Welcome to Warcraft.
Exactly.
Welcome to
exactly.
Warcraft.
It's
Yeah,
a typical
So it's your Warcraft
MMO-like reward system.
Yeah.
But obviously, unlike Warcraft, when you do a raid, your rewards aren't necessarily pooled together with everybody else, and you have to decide amongst yourselves. You get rewarded every time. So whatever you're doing in Destiny, you are getting rewarded.
But there's no loot table, is there? Like, so you can't go, I'm going to do this raid, I need that piece of gear, at least I've got a 20%
What
chance.
happens? Well, there's a loot table for everything in Destiny, but the game's reward system isn't very intelligent. So it's so random. You could get the same piece of gear 4 times during the raid with the same stat roll. It could literally be the same.
Yeah, I mean, I got two of the same shotgun in one raid that I did.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'd already got it anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And then stat said, bag of shit.
They just recently updated it and made shotguns actually relevant for PvE content. Nobody ever used them before. But now,
PvE?
Yeah.
Well, no, because there's not really much close quarters, is there, on Destiny? It's all
you can
there's
be.
a bit of corridors and stuff.
It can be though, if you wanted to get up close.
Yeah.
You can, because there's some classes can have a melee focus.
Yeah.
There's no reason to ever use a shotgun because it was just like a pea shooter.
Yeah.
So,
Like, oh shit!
8 times in the chest. Yeah, I'm going to brush that out.
as to whether or not it deserved Game of the Year, I mean, it is a great game, but I feel like I think it's great because I'm in the grind, and I'm still engaged in wanting these particular pieces of gear and armor and weapons, and I've just started playing GTA heists, and I'm thinking, fuck Destiny, I want $20 million for
You want
banks
GTA even
and
in
shit.
the
Instead of the grind for gear, you want the grind for dollar now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, to be fair, obviously, with it winning the Game of the Year, like I say, all the hype around it when it first came out, everyone obviously brought it. Me, I brought it. But within 2 days of me playing it or getting max or whatever, or soft cap, I was bored of the game. So I couldn't, in my opinion, I couldn't class it as a game of the year. But at the same time, I haven't played it in depth like you.
Well, the thing is as well, the end game content, it's quite punishing for newer players. Not so much now. If you get in with people who've played the game, they can give you all the tips and tricks of how to get your light score up as quick as possible, so you can start competing in raids, which gets you the better opportunities for gear, the better gear, to actually reach the level caps. Because when you first started playing the game, you get to 20, and then to get to 26, which is technically your first raid ready level, it would take hours and hours of grinding and not really being sure exactly the best way to go about it. Whereas now there's a few more opportunities available. There's a lot more people willing to just carry low levels through raids, so you can just fast track your way through the levels, which is a bit better.
Boosting them.
Yeah, exactly.
But I take it you've brought the DLCs for it then, yeah? So you paid all the cash for...
Well, when I bought the limited edition, which cost me £75, which...
Hello guys.
Which was the game itself, so limited edition artwork, steel case, little book with some stuff in, and the DLC pass.
I wanted the most expensive one with the ghost.
The ghost, yeah.
That was
a
nice.
limited only amount they made.
I tried getting one with the red one. Like I say, I wasn't much interested in the game, but items like that,
memorabilia,
they're great, aren't they?
Yeah.
eBay for the win.
But
we're just talking about Destiny at the moment, picking up the
BAFTA awards.
The game of the year at the BAFTA awards.
There's actually a BAFTA awards for gaming.
Rufus Hound,
comedian.
Yeah. It's been Dara O'Brien who's been he did the
previous
hosting for most of them.
He's a big game though, isn't
he? Yeah. But I mean, like I say, Destiny's a good game. There's enough content to keep you going for quite a few hours. Like me and Chris have allotted a considerable amount of playtime.
Of hours.
Yeah. But unless you're interested in what the end game content is, then like right now, I've sort of fallen out of love Destiny for the first time since having the game in September, which that's a long time to be committed to just playing one game.
Have you played much on the multiplayer side of it though?
The Crucible PvP stuff, yeah, and I enjoy that. Some people say, "Oh, it's too much like COD or it's too much like Halo." I think it's awesome, but again, there's just very limited content. The playlists are all very basic, and there's not really much going on there. There's no events in the game, there's no PvE events. There's not been a PvE event since October.
Thanks, Kelly.
Oh, nice one.
And there's not been there's only been one PvP event, which they keep repeating over and over again, which is just level advantages enabled rather than disabled. So it's
I think for the scope of the game, the content they've released so far is just it's lacking, and I'm hoping that House of Wolves at least takes a step towards that.
The thing is that there's a damning amount of evidence pointed at Bungie, which they haven't answered any of the calls about the content being cut from the game. From the trailer, they released the trailer in E3 2013, which is what was it? No, it came out last year. So it was the year that they basically revealed the game, and there was all different content showing you with two different social areas. One in the Reef, which is a part of the game which briefly appears, which is going to
two cutscenes,
which is going to be in the House of Wolves apparently as another social hub. And there's other little bits and bobs where you see characters who you meet in the game. It's other parts of the game, which I imagine will appear either in House of Wolves or in other upcoming DLC. So there's a lot of criticism based on have they cut the content from the game to put it as DLC, and then they're charging £20 a pop for DLC. I think maybe this should have been considered as well with regards to the Game of the Year award, because
it's already an expensive game before the DLC.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got to make the money, haven't they? Because obviously, once the game's out,
they made the money.
They certainly made the money, but once the game's out, they need to carry on making some money. So I agree. DLC come out, but the price.
Yeah, but when
Very.
it's quite possibly content that's been cut from the original.
Yeah, exactly.
To be
They
repackaged.
said, by the way, this was coming out anyway, but you're not having it until 2
you
months
pay
later,
for it.
and it's 20 quid.
Literally, though, the updates that come out, sort of pre-release DLC with Destiny, are like, not more than a few hundred megabytes. If you were patching in a lot of content, you'd be looking at gigs worth of data.
Yeah, well, when I did an update from Halo, it was like, here's a 2 gig patch.
Yeah,
What?
Well,
I mean, Dark Below came in, and Dark Below had what was it, five story missions?
I think there was three main story missions plus another small quest line, which amounted to a few bounties that you can pick
But
up.
they were revisiting areas of the original map and perhaps a new room.
There was one. There was the strike that came out was a new area which could previously be glitched into. So people had already seen.
It was already in the game.
It was in the game. Yeah, it just wasn't filled with enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the raid, which was completely new area. That was the only area I would say that was completely original to the content.
And for 20 quid.
Right. Do you want to just run us through anything else going on at the BAFTAs?
What else one? Whip it up.
You got the story award for Left 4 Dead.
Last of Us.
Last of Us.
Sorry, Left Behind.
Yeah, to be
Zombies and more zombies.
Confusing my words. Left Behind.
To be specific, the BAFTA for the storytelling award
Some DLC
was The Last of Us Left Behind, which, if you remember, was the DLC pack, which was released at a later date.
So there's been a lot of awards for downloadable content, basically.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know what DLC is.
But I think that doesn't bode too well for story in games if a DLC package is the best story.
Let's just have a quick look at the contenders for story. Just look at
Far Cry 4. There's
Far
Dragon
Cry
Age.
4. Wolf Among Us, which is a pretty popular online series as well, and we got Last of Us Left Behind, which is I've not played it, but I imagine it's around the region of 4 to 8 hours of content, maybe, and that won the best story. Fair enough, they couldn't give it to The Last of Us because the game itself is now approaching 2 years old. But
and it's already won God knows how many.
Yeah, exactly.
How do we award a game that's been out for so many years?
It's already won all the awards. It's done the business for Sony and Naughty Dog.
Wasn't Far Cry out last year?
Yeah. It was a contender for.
And it's not won no awards, nothing.
I think it won an award at the BAFTAs for
best sound.
I was going to say, magazines rated it.
Yeah.
Got 5 out of 5 on most magazines, right?
It was nominated for best game of the year.
The game itself is a great game.
Yeah.
But the Far Cry series in general has been a really good
how
series.
The Far Cry has changed. I played number 1 where you morphed into some form of.
That was 2.
Was that number 2 where you morphed into some form of monster?
That was 2.
Towards the end.
It's always been, the first few were always a little bit weird, weren't they?
Number 1 was you're on that boating trip, your boat randomly explodes, and then it's survival on the island.
Yeah.
Do you lose your family in the process as well?
Something along those lines.
I think the bones of it seem to be very similar with every sort of iteration of the game. It's just
survival on island. Yeah. But the whole
unlock different areas.
What happened from going to mutancy to?
I think wasn't that the one that came out on the Xbox 360?
It might have been then.
Because that was like a different direction. It was a
different
developer as well. It was
completely different.
Owned by Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Whatever, but a different developer, a different direction. Then when we got Far Cry 2, it put you in South Africa. You were like a mercenary. It was a very similar kind of thing. Then Far Cry 3, you were just a random young photographer or something on holiday.
That was a fantastic intro to the game.
Yeah.
That was.
Far Cry 3 as a whole was awesome.
I've not really played the Far Cry series.
That was like a benchmark for it.
They are really good games.
That to me was probably one of the best games of the year.
See, that's why I can't understand who comes up with these rewards,
the
nominations, because if there's magazines saying, best game, go buy it sort of thing. But where was it that Destiny just popped? I know obviously it made lots of money, great game, but where was it Destiny all of a sudden popped out and was like, no, we're the best game sort of thing?
I think with Destiny, what you've got to consider is that it's not a revolutionary game, but for consoles, it's the first game of this kind. it blending proper MMO elements into a game that you just pay for the one time, and then having that world persistently supposedly monitored by developers, and things are meant to change. There's meant to be more events, things that might end up coming in the future when more expansions are bought, or in the future with regards to sequels, where they know exactly what the scope of the audience is, so they know how many customers are going to come back and buy the seconds, because they made the $500 million budget up within the first day of it being on sale.
Got smashed straight off.
Talking MMOs on consoles though, Borderlands seems sort of platform.
Similar kind of game.
Much like Game of the Year for Borderlands, they do.
It's
but when you mention Borderlands, great game.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
And they set the principle for Destiny at the end of the day for the gunslinger MMO.
It's very similar. Yeah.
But that doesn't now has the hype of what Destiny had. Now I know Destiny's like open world and such, and everyone can jump in. And I suppose that's the difference between Borderlands. It's very Borderlands, although it's a massive map, it is kind of linear in ways because of the quest lines, and there's people can't just all of a sudden appear on your map. I suppose that's the grab of the Destiny.
If they open Borderlands up to an MMO, as you were questing, you just get flattened by someone.
Also, there's 20 people out there. Oh, mate.
It kicks off, yeah.
Well, put it this way: Destiny, in my opinion, to sum it up in a small review, great game, awesome gameplay. The gameplay itself, like the mechanics and the controls, they're really rewarding. Like that, I think that's what keeps me playing the game, because it's fun to play. Like the actual acting out the parts of the game is good. The shooting mechanics are good. The jumping, the melee, everything is good. But there's a lot of work to do with story, and there's a lot of work to do with integration of elements and the way that it all works together. Yeah, they've got a lot of people, and they've got the hooks into people, and they've got the MMO elements doing the job, but there's a lot of room for them to expand.
Yeah.
I hope that in the sequels, when they ditch PS3 and Xbox 360 and they focus then on the new formats, things can improve.
Yeah, that's the trouble at the moment. It's still on the old console. Right, shall we box up Destiny?
Well, I was just going to say, I think in terms of the game BAFTAs, I think it's important to, in defence of the choice of Destiny being the game of the year, I think it's important to highlight a new IP.
Mm-hmm.
As what's it, rather than just saying this sequel is
Did they have any kind of award for best newcomer or?
Yes, that went to. I can't remember off the top of my head.
New game. Let's have a look.
I think we're going
debut game. Never Alone.
Never Alone.
I think going back to that whole point about Destiny, is the thing to remember is that a lot of gaming outlets have covered it heavily. So it seems to already have that level of fatigue behind it, because so many people have been focused on it for so long.
But let's leave Destiny alone for a bit now.
Boot it under the table.
From an interest from my side, while we're talking ceremonies, I suppose you'd say, there's just been the IEM Masters.
You've been watching a lot of that, haven't you?
Been watching the IEM.
What's that?
It's at a Katowice or something. It's in Poland, I believe. Big venue, big stadium sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where the esports is. League of Legends, your Blizzard one. Heroes of the Storm. I'm guessing them sort of games.
MOBAs.
Your MOBAs games.
Yeah, you sort of arena
Dota.
Yeah, the Dota is it's massive venue for it.
Yeah.
And the stadium is filled basically. I was watching that, great turnout, and I couldn't believe how watching it is just like watching a football game, or the commentators.
They really get into it. I've seen some.
They have a board of 4 people.
Street Fighter tournaments.
Yeah.
And the commentators.
Well, it's amazing to see how esports has come in its own in the last year or so, because
it's going to be huge.
Well, not just obviously League of Legends, I suppose, set the stage for the whole esports tournaments. I know it's been around, but League of Legends has really put it out there. But now you've got all the other games that you're seeing in the background, your FIFAs,
Call of Duty tournaments.
They've always been there.
FIFA
tournaments, but now they're getting big. Like Brazil World Cup, while the World Cup was going on,
The FIFA World Cup.
the FIFA World Cup going on,
Yeah.
and an English guy actually won it.
That got mentioned on the national news as well.
Yeah.
The FIFA World Cup
Yeah.
after the normal World Cup, which
Yeah.
you'd never see a
but
game.
no one-
you
But no one would know about that.
Yeah.
No one would know about it, and it's just how all of a sudden gaming is becoming into the real world as such.
It's just becoming a more accepted part of popular culture, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's it's there's less stigma behind gaming now as it gets more, I don't know, realistic, and it's integrated into more and more homes, be that children or
Yeah.
adults having a resurgence of the youth. People
That's-
older than us who
Well,
perhaps
I
had
think
gaming consoles
the
before.
key thing is more people are playing games older now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So rather than just having a mess around with your mates, there's people having more and more ideas about gaming,
I
and
suppose-
it's leading to loads and
Yeah.
loads of great innovations.
So
We're actually
accessibility as much
we're
as
actually
anything
getting our
else.
own esports arena in the
Mhm.
UK
We are.
this year.
More than
And-
one, I believe.
Well, potentially, I think
Yeah,
there's
the guy
potentially
behind it.
two.
The guy behind it is he wants to make esports big in the UK.
He-
basically.
he wants to make
That'd be good though for the UK in general,
Exactly.
because it would. I mean,
I was
and
watching it on.
tourism for a start. All those kind of things are going to be, and the government is quite an avid supporter of the games industry with tax breaks and things like that. They want to encourage
Yeah.
people within the UK who are talented in game development and or aspects of gaming.
Not only is it good for the esports side, but there's jobs to be created, and there's
Exactly,
development
exactly.
jobs. There's running the venues and the events
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But I was reading an interview with a streamer called Day9. Don't know if you've seen any of his streams or anything, but he was saying it's bound to be a big thing, because for team-based sports you need a team. If you want to play football, you need a football pitch.
Yeah.
If you want to play tennis, you need a tennis court. But
Yeah.
if you're playing at
You don't.
you just need a room and an internet
Yeah,
connection.
yeah. But there's no reason why you can't turn that into a spectator thing and have
Well-
an arena with a big setup. So
Well,
that,
it just shows like when you watch these tournaments on, and you think, well, a few computers on stage, a few lads sitting there playing computers. How on earth is this entertaining? They've got the big screens going, the
Yeah.
crowd's roaring, and
Yeah.
the sort of plays. I suppose if you're watching your FIFA, someone scores a goal, everyone's going to jump up like a normal football game, aren't they?
Of course,
You know,
Well, I mean, let's just put things into perspective. If darts can be an accepted
sports.
worldwide,
If darts
It-
are classed
it's-
as a sport,
yeah, if it's a sport,
Yeah.
and you see the people. I don't know if anybody who is tuned in has ever seen a darts match, but it's basically
I haven't seen a darts match.
two fat blokes drinking
Throwing
pints of-
arrows.
drinking pints of bitter,
Yeah.
throwing darts at a board that's about 6 feet away from, and that's considered a sport. Then there's no reason why competitive gaming can't be considered the same vein.
I think it requires a skill level. It requires training,
Yeah,
and it's entertaining
you
to
can
watch.
just,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
just
It really
imagine
is,
like they go to the gym and do this all day long, whereas we probably go.
Well,
You think a
games-
dart player goes?
Yeah,
to the gym.
well,
But I mean, obviously, there's games like what was that game you had us playing before with the it was for click control, the music one. Music.
Osu.
Osu, that's the one.
Osu.
Yeah.
Osu's
you had us playing that's a training game.
Hand-eye
for
coordination.
hand-eye coordination. so-
Osu's not for the light. I don't think.
No.
I think there's only certain breeds that can
Yeah, Osu.
handle the
But
Osu.
there's a lot of games like that are essentially training for
Mm.
hand-eye coordination and speed
Well,
control.
in gaming, it's amazing also to see how gaming has become part of other jobs. I suppose like the army, they use controllers
and simulators
for drones
Yeah.
and simulators. They've got the full domes where they actually go inside and they've got
Yeah.
packs on, and and
There's a lot to be said for gaming, and I think that there's I don't know, generally a misinterpretation about what gaming is. It's not just for kids.
No.
But then you think like ignorant parents who probably are of the opinion it's just for kids are the same parents that buy their kids Call of Duty, which
Yeah.
is rated 18, and the kids got fucked up because they've been shooting people in the head since they were 9 years
well,
old.
we also probably have Facebook to thank for the gaming
Social media.
becoming big.
Oh, yeah.
So, social media.
And
I know-
mobile gaming,
Mobile
as well,
gaming,
you know.
because I know the games aren't fantastic. Obviously, it's not the sort of console game or that, but
it's
it's
opening
opened up
people's minds.
It's opening the minds to the gaming industry. Into you've got your 40-year-old mum that wants to go on, I don't know, Pet Saga or whatever it is on your Facebook. That's a game at the end of the day.
I get so many requests from Candy Crush Saga still, and how long's that game been going for? I know they constantly updating levels, and the people who are asking me, like 40, 50-year-olds who have
people
friends of the family and whatever.
A few years ago, if you were sat in your room playing a game, they'd frown upon it. Come on, get outside. But now they're racing
they're
home.
They're sitting on the sofa.
Oh, at work on the crafty break sort of thing. Oh my God, gotta buy this thing from the shop sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's opened it up, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the mobile market's huge. It's arguably the biggest market in gaming at the moment.
Yeah.
From the last 2 years, it's just sort of exploded with, like you say, all these addiction games that just rely on that sort of carrot on the end of a stick type reward system.
While we're also here, I just want to last interview podcast, however we will say. I kind of dissed a game of mine that I have been heartful to for years. Is the Halo franchise.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say diss, but I basically said my interest in Halo had gone
diminished.
Yeah, down.
Yeah. And you thought, did you mention something like you didn't have the same feeling for it as well?
Because obviously different industry doing it well. Different industry, the side industry. Well, I was actually speaking to Chris yesterday, saying that how I read an Xbox magazine the other day, and how it's got that interest. The fire is rekindled in me because how this guy's wrote up about the whole Halo franchise and Halo 5, he's bigged it up that much. I just want to play it again now. And then I also, with the Master Chief Collection, I got there's some episodes that came out, 6 episodes I think it was, about the Agent Locke, Agent Locke or whatever.
Was it Nightfall or something?
That is
the series. It's going to be linked.
Yeah, that's linked to the Halo 5.
Yeah.
Okay, Liverpool football team, if you know who they are.
Stoke City.
Most of these are Stoke City fans. You probably don't know who they are either.
Oh, whatever. 8th in the Premier League. Come on. Anybody who follows Premier League knows who Stoke are.
Well, anyway, so enough said about football. This is a gaming podcast.
Football's a game.
Football's a game.
Football is a game.
Okay. But yeah, it's rekindled it, and I watched these episodes and I was like, can't wait now for it. And just a few things on what they're doing on the Halo 5, they kind of stepped back and said, look, why did our fans like Halo 2 so much?
Yeah.
So they've taken a lot back to the Halo 2. The ranking system is back again.
Well, yeah, it was Halo 4 that really sort of turned it off.
Turned it upside down, yeah. It was a different game in my eyes.
Peter Crouch, exactly.
They know who
hero.
What a guy.
You must be from Stoke yourself then, if you know who Stoke City are.
Hey, shut it.
No, it's good to know that our hometown. I'm kind of a disloyal fan to Stoke.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm not actually originally from Stoke-on-Trent, so.
Scum.
But yeah, it's good to see that we're known.
We're on the map
for big, tall, lanky people. Blonde hair is so hot.
All right.
Are you talking about our own blonde over here? That's dyed.
It's fake.
It's fake. It's a wig. It's a wig.
If only it was a wig, guys. I just wish you had hair as luscious as mine.
It just wakes up in the morning. Yeah.
Glues it on. Yeah, it came free with the pre-order of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Dragon Ball Z. Another game just been released.
Dragon Ball Z.
Are you into it?
I'm desperate to buy it, but I literally cannot afford it. I keep watching videos and I'm desperate genuinely to get the game. But another game that's introduced MMO elements. That's one.
I was asking Chris about it.
I misunderstood.
One of the things that's been a big draw to that game is.
Is it open world then? Yeah.
No. There's like an open world hub.
Yeah.
And the maps are big that you fighting whatever in. But it's the first game that's had like a sophisticated creative character. So I mean, apart from Dragon Ball Online, which was only released in like Thailand.
Oh, so you create a character. You're not playing just a normal character that's in game. Then
you can play one of the story characters, or you create. But the main point of the game is you create your own character.
Right.
And there's like a hub world. It automatically puts you into this hub world,
He's flexing.
And
Gun show.
It's automatically puts you
Safety
into
on.
Safety on, boys.
These ones are sick. It automatically puts you into this hub world with something like 200 other players. You can quest together and do sort of parallel storyline events, things that never actually happened. It's like a new twist on the whole Dragon Ball storyline, where you intervene as a time patroller to stop events from panning out because these other villains through time have come in. But the big thing is create a character and the RPG elements and stuff like that. And as you can see, I'm super excited.
Okay, Ben, got a viewer. John Sosi. I can't exactly read it from
All
here.
Dragon Ball Z games are the same. Well, I mean,
Well, they're all fighting games.
most of them are fighting games. They have the same characters, but then all Street Fighter games are the same.
Yeah, Tekken.
All Halo games are the same because you've got a gun and you're from first person and you shoot people.
But saying that, I think that's very small to say that Dragon Ball Z games are all the same because
Xenoverse is
from
definitely stepping
from the ones I've seen from the side on Dragon Ball Z, like your Street Fighter sort of type of game, that didn't excite me. But I've seen this universe being streamed, and it's whole 360 universe, up, down, left, right, round and round.
You can't really capture the essence of Dragon Ball Z in a
exactly. You can't
2D.
No.
You can't have someone in a Dragon Ball Z jumping up and down and over someone. You want them going round, flying, fighting in the air, sort of thing.
Exactly. That's. I mean, as soon as I get it, I'll put a review.
It looks fantastic.
The game. But it's just time and money at the minute. But
No, you're right. The Halo games aren't the same.
So what?
Because the Halo 4 got destroyed, basically. So yeah, you're right. It's not the same.
What? By whom? Because I remember reading shining reviews about Halo 4, and everybody was saying, "Wow, Halo 4 is really good."
Storyline fantastic. And they added some new things into it, which haven't really been in Halo games. Climbing ladders.
What you've got to remember though is that 343 Industries, they're probably the spillover from Bungie leaving Microsoft. So they're people who will have been developing Halo from the word go.
Yeah.
And perhaps they've had these ideas that perhaps should have been implemented from the beginning. But because either not Microsoft, because obviously they've allowed them to have more creative control, but Bungie, the heads at Bungie perhaps stopped these ideas from coming in. I don't know.
Well, like this guy says, they've got more crap, basically.
That's a matter of opinion.
I think it's just because the whole Call of Duty franchise is big, and they saw it as Call of Duty are doing this. They're putting weapon sets in, giving you class perks, and we'll do that with Halo, and no one wanted that.
The thing is, Halo got big because it was Halo.
Halo was
cool
fast
and
multiplayer,
fun to play.
Can be close combat.
When you start trying to match it up to other games like Call of Duty, then you're in this sort of weird limbo in the middle.
And that's where obviously
if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
But then what is games development these days?
Yeah.
These AAA titles, they steal from one another constantly, and that's how they think they're evolving their series, is by using somebody else's ideas and putting their own spin on them.
Then you get this beige, bland world where every game's the same.
That's why indie development is a big thing.
Indie development is very good at the moment.
It's a very competitive market.
And excuse, I have to say something. The guy with the white shirt, does he talk or something?
he's a mute.
He's a mute.
He had his tongue removed.
What it is?
I say nothing.
We have to have 4 people in the stream each month. Okay. Thank you for the follow, by the way. We have to have 4 people in the stream each month. Well, this guy,
I'm part of the wall.
Basically, he's the brick wall that fills it.
Practically.
It's part of the disability. What's it scheme? We have to have a disabled person.
Let's
equal opportunities.
Let's just say he's our not promoter. What did he say?
I don't know.
Sponsor. He's our sponsor. He brings the technology to the department. He's the money bags man.
But I've noticed your streaming skills have failed again because your little auto haven't fired up. You follow a goal.
Oh shit! I haven't turned it on. Sorry,
Mr. Technical. Oh, technical. Leave it for now. It's fine.
No,
it's too late. It's too late now. You've messed up, man. You messed this up, bro.
So I mean, while Jason's doing that, I think we need to talk about GDC.
Yes, game
Seeing as
developer
we've just mentioned indie developers, I think it's quite a good segue.
Well, yeah, we've had an interview with someone been at the GDC, right?
Yeah. We a couple of weeks ago we spoke to the developers at Rubicon Games, who just made the game Hector, which came out Friday just gone.
It's currently on offer on Steam.
Yeah.
It does speak.
Banging a purchase.
That's advertising plug there, good one.
Yeah.
That will go down well.
Yeah,
with,
basically
with the developers at Rubicon.
This white t-shirt guy, he will advertise anything that's payable.
Pay to win.
If it's
Pay
if it's pay to win, this is your go-to guy.
Pay to win. This is the guy to talk to. You know what's the best bundle I can get right now?
What can I like to rinse everyone?
He's basically the sort of player that goes into a game and goes, shit, I don't like playing the game from scratch. I don't like putting the effort in. How I can pay 20 quid? Give it me all.
I'm that jerk.
That's this game.
I'm that jerk.
GDC.
Yeah. So like I said, we spoke to Rubicon. They made Hector. Hector came out on Friday. It's had a lot of good reviews.
Yeah, very.
It's like a sort of point and click survival horror in the vein of Outlast. There's a lot of elements.
I think for the bad reviews it's had, people are expecting it to be
more than it. Yeah,
more than it is meant to be.
You read the bad reviews and it's like, yeah, okay, that's a point, but you haven't taken the whole thing into consideration, really.
Okay, Battlefield. We'll just take a step aside from the Rubicon GDC. Seems we've got a viewer asking. Battlefield. This guy is a Battlefield fan.
I've played it for millions and millions of hours.
Battlefield Hardline.
Is it destroying the franchise?
Has it destroyed the franchise?
First beta, I wasn't going to buy it, and I thought, just quit. Don't even release that as a game. Don't even bother. Just bench it, try again. And that is what they've done. They took it away. There's currently is there a new beta out now?
There was
an
beta. So it's still on the beta stage, right?
I managed
it releases. Is it this week or next week?
Yeah,
it's very
23rd or something.
over the next few days.
So it comes out
I was that annoyed with the first one. I didn't even bother getting the second one. But from people that I spoke to, they said it was changed. They weren't impressed with the fact.
The thing is with Hardline. I mean, I enjoyed the first beta. I thought it didn't have the shine polish of Battlefield 4. Obviously, being a beta, it isn't the final playable release.
Yeah.
But videos I've seen from the second beta, again, it doesn't seem to have the exact same perhaps level of detail, but it is being made by a new studio. Right. So, this is them. They've made some of the Battlefield 4 DLC, but this is them cutting their teeth on a full release. And I think if it was up to me, I wouldn't have had Battlefield in the title. I would have just released this game as Hardline. Because they could have quite easily stolen the Battlefield engine and modified it, and called it Hardline. It's made by EA, endorsed by the same
Maybe
people.
not destroyed the whole franchise.
And it doesn't destroy the franchise. It's got a pretty poor storyline from what I've read, but the actual multiplayer elements remain
the same.
Awesome.
You see, I mean, I spent quite a bit of time playing on the open beta weekend, and to me, I don't see why it couldn't have been DLC.
True.
Obviously, the core of it.
That was one of our original complaints, I think, when we discussed it.
I genuinely thought it was going to be DLC. I saw this picture of cops and robbers. I thought, that'd be awesome.
So what you're saying basically is it doesn't seem like a full game.
You're paying 50 quid again for substandard story and for cops and robbers, basically.
Yeah.
Because that is.
I think what they tend to do with the Battlefield games is let the multiplayer carry them, don't they?
It's like the same as Call of Duty now. Their stories are going.
I think the multiplayer will carry because the modes that they were demonstrated in the betas at least were good, interesting, fun to play. A change on the old,
But for the price of a new title.
Well, I suppose it just depends. I mean, as much as that, it's the cash cow element. You want to spend, let's say, £50. That's the RRP for the game. Then there's a £40 premium pack, which entitles you to the upcoming DLC and some extra, money bags or whatever. Like that for me is where it becomes a bit, I don't know, illegitimate, I suppose, as a game on its own. But forget Hardline. That's just a stopgap because DICE are bringing out Star Wars Battlefront. Now that is where it's going to be at. That's just going to be Battlefield Star Wars. So
what more
amazing. That's what I'm waiting for.
Okay, I haven't even seen anything about the Star Wars.
I mean, it was coming out, but I didn't know it was DICE. When I saw DICE, I literally fainted.
last E3 they released a concept video, which was just sort of an AT-AT walker on Hoth and just going through some environments, some concepts.
So you're not playing Jedi, right?
No, it's battle. Did you play the old Battlefront games? No. It's basically a shooter. It's like Battlefield, but Star Wars.
But with lasers.
Yeah. There might be like hero characters in because they had that in Battlefront 2 where you could have a hero character like. But you're not going
to be seeing 70 Jedi's running around all.
No,
throwing lightsabers and stuff.
If they have the hero element like they did before, it'll be like one person on the team could assume the role of a Jedi at one time, and then perhaps gives you the advantage, get a few kills.
But in a way like Evolvent, one person plays the monster.
It could be like.
I know, obviously not that.
It could be the commander aspect from Battlefield 4 if you've played it.
But there was a closed doors video shown to the press at GDC, and apparently they got like a massive standing ovation, lots of whooping and hollering. And
closed doors, by the way, and he's got connections on the inside, obviously.
It was reported. It was reported in the gaming press, and I've been looking every single day to wait and see when the next damn video comes out for it. Because
we've obviously got a fan of the Star Wars Battlefront with the old Love Heart going. We can actually see.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
COD Killstreak. You become your side's super character, be it Vader or Luke, for example.
Yeah, that's kind of how it works in Battlefront 2. Like you fill up a super.
So like a power bar, basically. Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, and then you hit this button, and all of a sudden, destroy time, sort of thing.
Like
and Vader.
I think it was Free Radical Games. It was a UK-based game company who made Time Splitters. They were making
what a good game.
They were making
a series in general.
They were making Battlefront 3, which would have come out on PS3, Xbox 360 like years ago. And then obviously we had that big financial crisis. They went into administration, and Crytek picked them up in their games, but they didn't do anything with it. They got rid of the license. EA kept the license, I think, and then they basically said to die. So we've got this big Star Wars game that needs making. It's coming out about the same time as the new Star Wars film. So would you want to do it? And they obviously snapped that up. I remember playing Battlefield 3 on PS3 thinking, why is there not a Star Wars game like this? And now there is going to be a Star Wars game like that. So,
Darth Maul was the super character.
Anyway,
do you think we're going to get?
Right, back to the.
Is there going to be any tie-ins with Episode 7? Battlefront.
From what I've read so far, there's no indication to suggest.
Was in the film Episode 7, right?
Battlefront is meant to come out in December this year. Right. Episode 7 comes out in December this year. So
tie-in lots.
I would imagine with it being EA, there's going to be some DLC that comes out relates to
Day 1 DLC.
Buy this DLC, and your super character can be this person instead.
This could be old Jedi Luke or something.
This 7 megabyte code.
£7 for a 7 megabyte patch. What happened? Oh, I got a skin.
Exactly. But no, I mean, so far there's nothing to suggest that it's going to link in. It's just literally rebooting the Battlefront franchise. So they're going to want to do all the old battles, aren't they? They're going to want the space battle over the Death Star from A New Hope. They're going to want the Hoth battle, and they're going to want Endor. All of that is going. I can almost 100% guarantee that's going to be in the game.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, back to the old
GDC. The big thing at GDC this year, virtual reality. The
headsets.
It's obviously it's still a developing technology.
We've touched on this before, haven't we? That was a bit of a sore point on.
I think me and you've talked.
We've touched on it. Headsets.
It's the big thing though going forward.
Don't get me wrong. I think it'll be massive. I think that I'm guessing the money,
especially for a PC player like yourself, who's going to get the most out of the technology eventually.
I went on Steam yesterday and I scrolled down the list because there's a special bit that supports your. I was surprised how many developers were actually releasing games with the support on.
Yeah,
it's ludicrous. There's hundreds of them, hundreds.
Well, I mean, like the guys at Rubicon said when we were talking to them, the first place they went at GDC was the VR
to the booth, and they ran
over to them because it's got to be exciting for game developers to get their hands on the technology.
For them, it's technology that they've not thought of implementing at any stage, especially indie developers, and they're probably going over there thinking, crap, can I get all of a development kit? Because if this is the way going forward, then our next game, or one of our next games, has got to be doing this.
Just to let you guys know that are listening, we actually interviewed a team called Rubicon that have developed a game called Hector on Steam. Not advertising, obviously, there are other games available.
No, we'll advertise it. It's good. It's a bloody good game.
But it's just a 5-man team, this Rubicon, and we actually interviewed Chris and one of our other podcasters interviewed him the other night, and it
live from San Francisco.
Live from San Francisco.
Unfortunately, we couldn't be at the event. Because we were all broke.
We were there via Skype.
But it was a great interview, and if you're actually interested, maybe you should pop on the YouTube and have a listen. Some cool stuff on there about the old Hector and about GDC in general, right?
Yeah.
But the visual headsets, I haven't looked into much of them. I've just seen pictures of how bulky they can look.
I mean, I've seen pictures of them. I've seen some footage from what the tech demos were showing and what have you. But unfortunately, you don't quite get the full.
Are we best friends?
No, I hate this guy, and he's a fool.
Not really. No. I've got many people in the list higher.
That's fair.
We are friends, definitely.
Yeah.
Best.
If you're ever in any of our Skype conversations when we're playing games like Warcraft, you'd think we hate each other.
We're true rage gamers, I suppose you could call me and Mance, as he's known. We can sit in Skype many times,
slam each other apart,
and a discussion about a game can become quite heated. We're all good friends, but I suppose you have to keep your enemies closer, right? But yeah, on the whole side of these headsets, I've just seen images of how bulky they look. I think I couldn't sit there with one of them on my head.
I don't think
because how bulky they look.
They're not necessarily designed. I mean, they're going to be.
Oh, this game's sick.
They're going to be designed. Well, you couldn't look down because you're just looking at your feet all the time.
The weight up.
Yeah. They're probably going to be designed with comfort in mind. I mean, Oculus Rift. If you see that, it just looks like some sick ski goggles. It doesn't even look like anything.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Project Morpheus, the Sony one, looks a little bit more bulky, but it looks futuristic as hell. It looks super.
Is it like there's an advert, right, where there's a guy with that speed hat on and glasses, and he sat back in his chair. You've seen it, right?
I know.
No, literally.
There's an advert. It's advertising. It's nothing to do with gaming, but it's a guy sat in his chair like that, and he's getting the whole virtual reality. I think he's getting water splashed at him and everything. He's got literally the kind of like glasses under his eyes, and he goes up. You know the bike helmets they wear in the speeds. He's like that. It's a big cone shaped sort of thing. And he's there with all his gadgets on his arms, controlling it.
Never seen it.
If it was like that, then I'd be buying one. To be fair,
I think that's probably a bit further in the future from what they're aiming for, because they just want a slightly more immersive experience where you move your head and you look in the direction that your head's going to go. You know,
nice
that level of interaction.
Yeah, 3D gaming. I suppose it'll give you the old motion sickness sort of thing.
That's one.
Yeah, I mean, we've never.
We haven't tried it.
We haven't tried it.
Unfortunately,
we're poor.
Yeah, if we could actually get and try it, then we could give a decent review.
Just because we podcast doesn't mean we.
At some point in the future, we do aim to get to one of these events, like say, the Eurogamer Expo or something, where they're bound to have this. But unfortunately, for us in the UK, there are not many mainstream gaming events that we can go where this technology will be present.
At some point, obviously. If there's some convention over here, we will be at the convention probably.
Yeah, I think right now though, in my head, virtual reality is what I want it to be rather than what it probably actually is.
Cheers for the follow again, Jojo. We do actually have a event over here, I suppose, where it might be called the Gadget Show.
Could be could be something.
They'll definitely be something.
You're going to the Gadget Show.
Luckily, the Mute is going to the Gadget Show.
The Mute will do us a good review.
He'll do a video, so we can overlay some music in the background.
So this was the Gadget Show.
With many pictures and videos.
Picture.
I may even purchase one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, I've got more money than sense.
What do you think?
Well,
what do you think price range might be for these?
4 figures, surely.
Yeah.
No.
I can't see it being full figures.
The release versions, they're gonna probably, they've got to look at no
400-500
no
quid.
more than 200 quid.
You
no
reckon?
more. They
That
can't.
cheap?
Well,
They
I mean,
can't.
what's
Who's gonna buy them though?
It's just an accessory, right?
I
It's
can't-
not it's
by
not a
the-
console of any
By
sort.
the
is it?
time they come out, the consoles themselves will be sub £200 because they're not going to be coming out this year.
No,
Well,
no.
not. I mean, maybe Oculus or Steam VR will get out quicker, but like Project Morpheus, and if Microsoft ever announce something similar, they're not going to be out within the next 12
But
months.
the thing is, for the developers, VR is only going to work if it's affordable.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Which is a bit of a catch-22 because to make it affordable, you've got to cut back on a bit of the tech. So it might not be as.
So with this VR, tell me what it is all about. And like I say, I've only really seen the images. I haven't seen anything, of.
It's virtual reality.
But what will you be? What will you be seeing when you look for these goggles?
There's a few tech demos. I mean, Valve have put a really good Aperture Labs tech demo up.
Valve with the Team Fortress.
Fortress,
Yeah.
Portal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Portal.
Steam.
Guys are on Steam.
Yeah, Steam.
The guys who run gaming at the moment.
Yeah.
Literally
Yeah.
own PC gaming.
Steam actually broke a record the other day with having 9 million concurrent users using
Probably.
Steam at the same time. Some ridiculous number.
Yeah.
Or everyone actually just logged on AFK while playing another game. You mean?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing.
Like man.
I was playing Grand Theft Auto, I'm sure I was.
But yeah, I mean, obviously you'd be able to put yourself, in theory, put yourself in games.
Because there was an Xbox game they were meant to have brought out probably 2 years back, maybe when they were first bringing out the Kinect or so. Was it called Alex or it was about? It was
Yeah, I know what you mean. That kid that
It was
responded
to it, and it never appeared, did it?
But the thing that you got to remember though is
I'm
That was
guessing
more
with-
AR than
Yeah,
VR.
But I'm
Yeah,
guessing the
exactly.
VR would
what
tie to it, right?
but imagine
No,
imagine you're sitting in your living room and you're playing on your Xbox, or you're sitting at your desk and you're looking at your PC. You've got the edge of the monitor, you've got speakers,
yeah.
you've got this is all encompassing. The only thing you see is
To make you
It's
feel
the
like
image.
yeah,
Yeah.
obviously.
so
You've
you're
got built-in
so it's
gyroscopes.
like it's it's meant to.
So your
mimic
first person
coming
games
from
are
your
going to
eyes.
be
Yeah,
the game to
exactly.
buy basically.
I mean, one of the Sony's early tech demos for Project Morpheus, I think that, I don't know if it was at GDC last year or if it was at TGS last year or something, was like a shark cage demo. Like you're in a cage, like if
Under
you,
the sea,
under
yeah,
the sea.
yeah.
and you're looking around, and then all of a sudden
And all of a sudden a
sharks
shark
start
comes
appearing
up to
and
you.
stuff, and it's meant to be quite disorientating looking around because we've never experienced gaming in this way without the external elements, not properly.
There was a horror game that the
And you've had a read of
as
that,
well.
Chris. Let's-
Yeah, so it's a good point Jojo's just made there.
Even with my glasses on, I'm still trying find it hard to actually read.
Yeah, just saying that the problem with head movement in first-person games is that 90% of first-person games don't have 3D model characters, and your gun's attached to your nose.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, because if you
Yeah.
if like and you're
In
and
real
if
life.
you turn around with a first person and point at someone sort of thing, your gun is nowhere near where it actually
Yeah,
is.
where it would be in
Yeah,
relative
exactly,
terms.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. It's very new technology. There's a lot to be developed,
Yeah.
and I mean, I suppose you've got to get it out there and start actually testing it in the mass populace to
I mean,
be able to improve it.
This is looking forward. I mean, years from now, maybe not as many as we think, but like when you think,
They've certainly obviously got the technology.
let's just consider PlayStation 5 and Xbox, whatever the
Next
next
gen
Xbox
consoles.
is, yeah.
My wallet's just
It-
ran away already.
But let's just consider them. This technology, if it picks up now, will be bundled in the box.
Are we
and that
talking-
is how VR is gonna.
Are we talking
develop in
VR
the
for
future.
PC as well?
Yeah.
So
Well, Valve, Steam's VR is.
They're doing their own.
You
so
know,
for
I mean,
PC, are we going to need the best graphics cards?
Well,
But
this is it.
amazing processors.
But
'Cause if
aren't Valve creating, the
Steam
Valve,
box.
the Steam,
Steam
box,
box.
which is meant to
Yeah,
sit, next to your TV like a console.
Like a console.
That's going to have fixed technology. There probably aren't going to be many upgrades you can buy for those. So unless you're replacing,
Yeah, but then
Steam
that's another
boxes,
box you need to
yeah.
buy.
Well, you
I don't
have to
actually
buy
know
them.
what happened to the. I don't think it was called Alex, but I remember seeing a very early thing of it. for
It was one of the
Kinect.
big. It was one of the big
It
things
was
that
meant to be-
Microsoft pushed with the release.
It was
of
meant to be
Kinect.
to do
It
with the
was
Kinect, and a
Kinect.
massive,
Yeah.
this is the sort of thing the Kinect will do. You'll come in and he'll talk to you.
Yeah,
He'll ask you how your homework was done.
It was like an interactive AI that was meant to learn like a bit about you and things that you'd done and said.
In a way, like a Furby or something that learns from you. It was meant to be a bigger platform on that.
I don't know if it took a bit of damage with the whole your consoles listening to you sort of
I don't want my console know my life sort of thing.
There was Milo. It was called Milo. That's what it was.
Oh, was it Milo? Yeah.
There was a big fear factor that went round with what your computer could actually hear, or what your smart TV could hear.
We're in a Big Brother world because Connect is always listening.
I don't know.
Watching.
It is scary. They are scary. The fact that
it might have took a big hit from that.
It is scary. The fact that you Connect always on.
Imagine though if they could have used that as some positive spin, like the perfect security device in your lounge. Connect.
Yeah. Someone's broke into my house and robbed my Xbox. Don't worry, we had it on footage as he was unplugging the Connect.
like that guy who tried to steal that dude's bike and he had a GoPro on his head. And he's just captured it all. But I mean,
my CPU is a neural net processor. A learning computer.
See, but Connect's dead, let's face it. Connect, in the vision that Microsoft had for it, is dead. But what I was saying to Chris earlier is, the voice commands on Connect are amazing.
Saying that though, I don't think the actual Connect is dead. It's more the developers that didn't embrace Connect.
Like you're saying, the original intended companion that it was supposed to be.
All the developers wouldn't bother with it, and that was the trouble.
It was Microsoft's fault for going in the wrong direction when they released the Xbox One, And then this guy Phil Spencer came on board and he's like, "Guess what, guys? Don't need Connect anymore. Bundling it without Connect.
We've lost loads of money. Shit, how do we get this out there?
Yeah, exactly.
Tell them they can buy it without the Connect.
They've just made the Xbox One a games console again, and I mean, it does all the multimedia functions, but it's not.
I use my Connect quite a lot.
No, the voice commands are awesome.
The hand signals sometimes are a bit dicky, but then again, it does say to me sometimes your room's too dull.
I mean, you've got to give it the right environment.
You've got to give it the right environment to live in.
The voice commands I find awesome. It's like being Iron Man and talking to Jarvis, and you just control. I love that kind of thing.
I love the voice commands. I don't like shouting about 6 times. Xbox, and then it goes just turn on.
It's just come on.
Oh, thank God! But I actually played Connect Sports the other day with my little ones. And how. If you ever play Connect Sports on the old Connect on the 360,
tracking was a little bit off.
The tracking was awful.
Yeah,
your characters were doing this all on the screen. you're standing there and it's doing the dances and stuff, jigging and going, what the hell? Just kick the goddamn ball! Or whereas now it's so fluid. I mean, you got the odd, I've just moved my hand and it blips off and then comes back again, sort of thing. But sometimes maybe that is because you've got 4 people behind it. It may just pick them up, even though it's not meant to.
That's the problem. It was Nintendo's fault, though, isn't it? They were the ones who pioneered motion gaming. And then everybody else jumped on the bandwagon. PlayStation Move, that was a car crash. Connect,
the one.
But the Connect Sports is fantastic.
I mean, obviously Microsoft did a good thing by putting Connect in the box originally. People who buy an Xbox One without Connect are probably doing themselves a disservice because it is
there's loads of features you miss out on the Xbox.
It is an advanced piece of technology that is worth having, and someday I'm sure someone will make a game that makes everybody think, "Oh crap, I wish I'd got an Connect."
Exactly. Yeah.
Even if it's something as simple as, using hand gestures and voice commands that make a massive impact in how easy you can control a game.
When Star Wars comes out and you're throttling someone with the hand movements.
Well, there was meant to be a Star Wars Connect game, wasn't it? Where you were the Jedi.
I played Star Wars Connect. It was dire.
Was it? I never saw it.
But it was on the original Connect.
That's right.
It was the
and
motions.
You did the whole motions thing, right?
It was tiring. I'll give you that much. It was
I
tiring.
could just imagine lamping my message on the face with a 2-handed.
That's what kind of put me off it a bit.
Spinning kickers in your room.
Because it's so labour intensive just to do the motions and things.
Hey Rob, thanks for coming in, mate.
I thought, crap, you know what I mean? What if I smash a lie? Do I do something?
Rokkit TV.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the mods.
So that kind of stuff can happen, you know what I mean? And like you had to do a dash, so you had to like stack forward to make it dash, and it had to pick you up moving forward, and you're like
whole room shaking.
You're like this, like shaking around. Yeah, well, you know what I mean. It's probably really good for kids who don't need as much space to move in. But
it looked fantastic. To be fair, I like I say, some of the Kinect games that get you up and moving in your room. Perhaps that's probably why people don't like it. They don't want to get out of the chairs.
Maybe if they made like
I bought this £500 gaming chair.
Yeah.
I don't want to be getting up.
Why do I want to get out of this chair?
Maybe if they made it like a Star Wars Kinect for 2.0, like that'd be awesome because the tracking is so much better.
Tracking's better.
So you literally almost feel like you were there, you know what I mean? But imagine that with a VR.
That's what I'm saying. That sort of thing with the VR then, the Kinect surely, with a VR maybe strapped to the head. Because you've got, it'll be tracking your motion.
The only thing then is the safety element because you can't see
blind.
anything around you.
Yeah, I suppose, you're blind.
That's what we're heading towards. That is the kind of experience I think we're heading towards with VR. That is the most ideal.
We actually did an intro at the start of obviously the podcast, but we got Ben, which is Dragon Ball Z.
He's Goku.
I prefer Goku, yeah.
We got Goku or Vegeta or Piccolo. We've got Chris, otherwise known as Nork in many of his games. We've got Mance or Superflea, he's known as in a lot of his games. And we've also got Jace, and I'm also known as Kanye in my games. So
on your stream.
And on the stream that you're actually in. Although this is the Bottle Rocket stream, this one we have got another stream.
We've got another channel called Bottle Rocket, but Jace likes to hijack that and put it on his own.
Oh yeah, well yeah,
leeching the views.
But going back to the whole GCC, speaking to developers, when you did speak to Rubicon, Cone, you mentioned a new engine.
Yes, there was a lot of new sort of tools that have come out. I mean,
we can do that in future for you, Jojo. If that's the case, if you want our names underneath us,
good idea.
We can do that.
And we could have our Twitter handles as well. There
is a new Dragon Ball Z movie, yeah, and after the first
revival of F,
we do also talk films. When we talk films, the cabbage again, he goes very silent.
I just leave the room.
I'm half-hearted on the film. These two are massive film boffins in a way. So we do talk films, by the way, even though this is a gaming channel.
And I'll be the only one that talks about new Dragon Ball Z film. You guys,
I have seen the Dragon Ball Z 2 coming out. That's all I've seen.
Have you seen
Battle of the
Gods? No, that was the last one that came
out. But I've seen nothing of it. But I watched the first Dragon Ball Z with Goku, and it was appalling in my eyes, so I'm not really looking forward to the next one.
So basically, what you're saying is you knew nothing about Dragon Ball Z. So that's fine.
It looked pants.
Don't comment. That's it.
It looked pants. Piccolo was pants. It didn't look anything like the cartoon. I watched.
You're on about like the live action film.
Yeah, the film.
Oh God, we're not talking about that.
Oh,
don't forget.
Are we on about animation? Film? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm on about there's meant to be another action one coming out.
Oh God, I've not heard anything about that.
And same as another Tekken 2 as well.
Oh dear.
No, if you watch
it's always dodgy ground when somebody takes an animation and makes a live action.
Yeah, it's not.
You've only got to talk M. Night
Why can't they not just do like Pokemon did? Pokemon the movie didn't bring out a live Pokemon, did they? They animated a movie.
The problem is how would you take an animated character and bring them to life?
You leave them in the animated.
The artists for these mangas are Japanese, so their characters don't look anything like Japanese people. They don't look anything like European people. They just look like
played by British people characters who haven't got eyes like they go.
Eyes like that, or some people don't even have like houses and stuff.
Then they got wigs like
like that.
You got a hair
yeah, like this wig. Anyway, going back to the engines.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff came out. Valve brought out. Well, they announced Source 2. Which is massive.
That's big news.
That's massive news for everyone.
When you consider how long Source has been going on, it's
the
awesome
sheer versatility of it as well.
It's awesome.
Talking about Valve, actually, it was all set up. They said they had 3 big announcements to make on the 3rd of the 3rd. So everyone's thinking, could it finally be Half-Life 3?
Half-Life 3.
It was all set up, and it wasn't one of the announcements, which.
Did they ever? Did they ever do?
Will we ever see
episode 3? Because didn't they make Half-Life 2 and they were meant to do 3 episodes?
Was it the Lost Coast episode or something like that? Or
Yeah, and then there was meant to be. I don't know.
Well, what was this engine?
I just don't think they can count to 3. I think that's
what was this engine that you were talking about to Rubicon that you asked them if they're looking forward to using it?
That
in
was
games?
the Unity, the new Unity engine,
Right.
which is the game. That's what they built Hector in.
Right.
And there's the latest version that's come out, and that's it's a really versatile tool as well, and it just makes it easier to port games from the PC over to console. That's what they mentioned,
didn't they?
Because
you asked if this would become a console game, the Hector, and they said it will be a lot easier to.
No, Half-Life 3 will never come.
Yeah, it's just
not if Gabe Newell's got anything to do with it.
They
anyway.
said with this engine, it's a lot easier to put it over to console.
To port to console, yeah. It's a versatile engine.
That's important as well for indie developers because you know what I mean. There's such a huge market for it on consoles now. Like before, it was perhaps Steam was your biggest outlet, or games with Windows. I don't know, but consoles now, indie games are releasing every single week, and they're getting some good sales figures. So these guys. These smaller developer circles, they need those kind of tools to be able to port them over.
Some of these, the freer games on the Xbox, on the PlayStation that you can download and stuff, which is the gold on the Xbox or whatever.
Yeah, PlayStation Plus.
I suppose some of them are the indie games.
No, a lot of them are, and a lot of them are indie games, and they practically launch for free on PlayStation Plus, and I don't know how they make money from them.
Exactly, but it's fantastic. Like I say, I played that Chariot and that I got it for free.
Well, Sony and Microsoft, they put big drives into.
They're doing
into
production.
I can't remember what Microsoft's thing was called, but they've got a special.
Yeah. Well, they've actually
side for indie games.
They're.
I think it's important.
Sometime soon, sometime in the next couple of months, Microsoft are releasing a big system update with the Xbox One that turns every console into development kits, and so that obviously is a massive thing.
Well, they released the game to challenge Big Planet 3, didn't they? The Project Spark.
Yeah.
And that just puts it out there for so much more.
Yeah. I mean, Little Big Planet, as well as being a quirky and fun little game, the big pull is the creating your.
But Little Big Planet's kind of got its own campaign to it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But the campaign made a Little Bit Planet.
Yeah.
You have the same creative ability as
to change things
people
around.
that made the campaign.
Whereas the Project Spark, it's literally you can start. You just got a blank canvas, and you can do your tutorials. And it tells you how to code a character, and tells him how to move. What have we got going on? I tend to disagree with John So. It's just getting really long time to make it. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe. Well, I mean, Half-Life 3 would be the perfect first game for Valve to release to show off Source 2, just like they did with Half-Life 2 and the Source engine. The saucy engine.
If only.
But yeah, I was actually surprised because I didn't know we were only a 5-man team. How little the team was.
Yeah, it's the same with.
Well, look at No Man's Sky, which we rave about from time to time.
I can't wait for that.
I mean, that's how many people was that? 10-man teams.
Not even
ridiculous.
But it's crazy because when you look at these games, how much goes into them, and we were watching
the HD touch up on Magic 3 last night, wasn't it? And just the touch ups on the little sprites, they take so long just to.
We're watching one of the games I used to play. They've done a HD reformat of it, and it's literally a guy taking just one image into Photoshop and reworking that image.
Well, do you remember the re-released Street Fighter 2 HD?
Yeah.
Literally, the guys, I don't know if it wasn't the guys who made the original, they were working on Street Fighter 4 at the time. They had to redraw every single frame image.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they didn't remake Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which was arguably everybody's favourite Street Fighter game, because it took so long to redraw all the sprites and images from Street Fighter 2 into
it's
HD.
Amazing.
It's awesome.
So I think there's a lot to be said for these guys.
It's not cost effective though.
So these people that are the indie developers, people.
Well, they're putting that amount of work in start a project.
Exactly.
This is their life's
But
work.
people may
almost.
look at these games as on Steam sometimes as a bit shit. Or,
Yeah, well, if you've been given something as good looking as like Far
because
Cry 4,
when you've had your polished games on your consoles
Yeah.
for so long, or your PCs, then you go to these indie games, it kind of takes a step backwards into the Sega era or so in a way. But at the same time,
I was watching a stream of Final Fantasy 15 yesterday, the demo that's just come out with Type 0, and people were flaming it in the Twitch stream because the trees didn't look animated properly, and I mean it's just gorgeous vista. But they're saying they look lazy and stuff like that, and the graphics don't look brilliant. But that's a classic case you've been given too much good that you expect everything to be.
Unfortunately, we grew up in the era where we had the Segas and the Nintendo.
Where the graphics and gaming's evolved as we've grown up. We've experienced.
At our age, we are at the age of gaming coming through with us. Whereas
I almost feel sorry for
the
young kids now who are not going to experience evolution of gaming like we have. And I can go back and play a PS2 game now and think, God, that looks gash.
But you look at it and say,
is that what you're talking about?
I still think
sense of entitlement with having these awesome.
I'd rather play
games.
Time Splitters Feature Perfect with the triangle heads and the guns that bend and stuff than
that's
play
the
Call of Duty.
nostalgia that comes with the games, isn't it?
It's nostalgia, and that's a big part of it. But
dollar.
The future isn't AAA. That man's right.
No, it's not AAA.
Because I think the AAA market is just going to buckle under its own weight.
Clickers.
But I think the AAA market's just going to end up buckling under its own weight. And all this, £50 for a game, £40 for your season pass, so you can play it online.
I think they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Because people haven't got that money.
There's going to be a point where they probably just decide, right, we're going to have to go back to basics because this business model isn't working. Either that or every single game is going to be episodic and it's going to come out part 1, part 2, everything included, everything that you buy is included. There's no DLC.
But
you have to then buy it in chunks. You know what I mean?
You get game number 2.
Exactly. Honestly, I don't know. I don't want it to go that way. I don't even want an all digital gaming future because I don't want to be ripped off. You know what I mean? Like the reason that I still buy.
I like a disc.
I prefer discs. I prefer having the physical elements. You know what I mean? I like opening a case and smell that plastic for the first time. You know what I mean?
I think it's more security as well in my sense because I like to take that disc home and go, I've got this for as long as I keep this disc in good condition.
Until you sit on it and snap it.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, right?
Scratch it to fuck or whatever. But
going back to Dragon Ball Z Universe and how desperate I am to buy the game. I was on eBay yesterday just seeing what kind of prices were perhaps for the pre-owned market, and there's a new sales technique that people are using now whereby you buy an account. So I'll pay somebody, for argument's sake, £30. It seems entirely dodgy to me. They sell me a PlayStation Network account, I get the login details and I download the game which has been bought on that account,
hacked,
and then onto my console. And as long as I keep that account, then I keep the game.
Well, it's
then
like
you've got like download limits. Like let's say you can only download the game 4 times, or if my console breaks down 4 times.
Yeah,
you know.
This is what
is highly likely on new consoles.
Rob's just said a good point actually. Like when I used to go to the pub with my mum when we were younger or so, they used to have we used to have. We used to go like to your working men's club or whatever, and they got the arcade machines. You used to literally go there, and I used to take my pocket money each week. You know.
Yeah. You arrange your wallet.
Get a bit of pop, get a bit of chocolate. Stand by this arcade machine, waiting to get on an arcade machine. Like, oh my god, what game is this? Sort of thing. Doop doop doop. Like, so piling your coins in all the time.
Track and field.
You don't get that now.
No.
You go out now and you don't have people. All right, if you go.
The problem is your home computer system can do that
all
and
of that better now.
Before you'd have to, Daytona USA. You
had
couldn't
to
dream of playing on anything.
You had to be a billionaire before to have these sort of things in your home, I suppose.
Or you go down and
or you go out and pay your pound into the. Whereas now you can get it all in your house and.
Yeah, which is sad.
It's sad.
I had this is really strange really. I had a dream ages ago, because I always in the past thought I'd set up my own. If I ever came into a lot of money, I'd set up my own gaming shop. But it wouldn't just be a gaming shop; it'd be like a shop, similar to Game. But then you'd have like an upstairs where it was similar to an arcade, but it wasn't just arcade machines. It was like new consoles with the newest games, running tournaments, things like that. Like not to the level of esports, just like a local thing where you get a bit of a community going. But there's nothing like that. Not
With
about me, anyway.
With the whole why spend so many dollars or pound or whatever currency you are on making a massive hit, it's okay to say, yeah, why not just make the old Candy Crush, which also makes lots of money.
Don't talk to me about King. I hate that company.
It's okay to say why not just do that, but there is still the market out there for the big games at the end of the day, and that's why
there is the market. But I think there is so much more that's out there available to you at such a lower price. You can get indie titles for a couple of quid that have got far more lastability than a lot of the AAAs.
Well, I mean, the AAA market will stay afloat as long as the home console business does. And everybody thought there was going to be a decline in home consoles, and yet in 18 months, Sony have sold through 20.2 million PS4s. Add to that however many million Xbox Ones have been sold, and Wii U it's sold about 10 in the last 6 months, But even still, that's console sell through to homes. So you're talking 30, 40 odd million consoles, new consoles, sitting in homes now. Is the AAA market going to die when the numbers keep going up and up? No way.
But the thing I find with a lot of the AAA games is they're too short for me a lot of the time compared to these indie games, which...
Look at the Order, for example, that's just recently come out.
Yeah, the Order's ridiculous.
Jazzpunk.
One thing I've noticed is a lot of people I know now have got the new consoles, but like your Xbox One game collection,
I've got 4 games.
Four games.
I've got downloadable games on there.
I've got a couple of games on the on PS4. My brother, he's got like whereas before you had a stack this big.
I've got stacks still of my 360 games over there, which I can't touch now because my 360's red ringed.
Like PlayStation 1, I had like stacks of games.
Yeah.
Because they were affordable.
The trouble is now I have my PC.
My PS1 was chipped. So.
Well, the trouble with me now is the PC kind of pulls me away from the console. I brought the console.
Yeah. The thing is,
and it does work as the entertainment box it was meant to be at the end of the day, because my kids watch DVDs on it more than I bloody play games.
What annoys me about PCs, but I envy it, like PC gamers, is like these Steam Humble Bundles and boxes like that, and you can pay £5 and get 4 games for free, or you go on Steam sale, GTA 5 in 2 months' time is £10. You never ever see a digital sale of games like that on PlayStation Xbox unless it's 2 years into the cycle.
You might see a couple of pounds
last week.
Yeah. But then again, saying that, the gold now on Xbox, I don't know what it is with the PlayStation stuff, but gold do that now and then on games.
PlayStation do sales every month.
Yeah.
Right. And some of the games that come on sale are relatively new, but they're not the discounts that you're looking at for Steam. They're not kind of discounts.
Not your 80% discounts.
It's like let's say Far Cry 4 came out a month ago. For argument's sake, they might have it on the PlayStation Store now for $34.99, where RRP's at $54.99. Yeah, fair enough. That's an okay price.
£35 is what you used
That's
to
not a sale price.
I
used to pay that brand new. Exactly.
The Ubisoft sale last week, Far Cry Collection was about £16. That was for 1, 2, and 3.
I bet
and then you got Far Cry 4 for the same price again. So you're getting every single Far Cry for the same price you paid for on the console.
But I bet they made Megbucks on that Ubisoft sale, because there's so many titles.
Assassin's Creed Unity was on there.
There was Splinter Cell, was there?
Off.
There was Splinter Cell there. There was the Assassin's Creed titles.
All the Might and Magic sales were 80%
Might and
off.
Magic. There was
the Trials game collection.
Yeah, but look at that. That you've just that's just happening now. Well, there's no reason for them to be on sale this time of year. It's no event. Like Christmas, the sales get even madder.
Yeah.
This is what disappoints me about people who are begging for a digital future with console gaming, because it just means that a consumer is going to be screwed over.
I
might buy 2 games a year. Where
the trouble is I probably would be a PC gamer more than a console gamer now if it wasn't for the fact that I knew every 2 months or so, near enough, you got to upgrade your computer a bit more, because every day
something else pushes the benchmark.
The problem with the digital only future is if you launch a game and you're selling it hard copies, you ship 10 million copies. You've got to sell them 10 million copies one way or another. Whereas if you sell it all digitally,
it costs you nothing. There's no distribution. There's nothing. Yeah, but why are them savings not passed on to the consumer? Like if if Sony and Microsoft really wanted, this is one of my biggest bugbears. If they wanted a digital-only future, right? Why are brand new releases of games not $29.99 to release digital and then 40 quid in shops? Because then you've got the shops markup, which is like game sell games at the RRP of $54.99. They probably buy them at $34.99 because they buy them in bulk.
Probably a lot cheaper
so
than that.
So you've got the markup, the distribution, the production of the discs and everything else, right? Digital, you get none of that.
Exactly.
So why are you not feeling the benefits?
What is it costing them to?
Nothing to host them on a server. Nothing at all.
That does anger me.
And the profit margin is all Sony and the developers. There's no middleman.
It does anger me that you can't get a discount when buying them online. You should get some form of.
If anything, they seem to be more expensive on
because
it's like, well, we're saving you the hassle of going out to buy it.
We're saving you.
Yeah. So pay us more money, please. Thanks.
Yeah, it just
ludicrous.
I mean, I have brought a few of the games on the Xbox.
The pitchforks are coming out now.
I got the Dragon Age. Did I get that disc? No, I got the. I think I downloaded. Yeah, I got the download for the Dragon Age, and I think that was pricey. To be fair, and I was quite shocked at how pricey it was. That was on offer. I think it was still 38 quid or whatever on offer.
Yeah, shockingly as well, some of the digital titles released with more bugs and issues than the disc-based versions, and I think that's something that should be stamped out straight away, because surely to God, if this is the convenient and the best approach to actually buying a game, it should be the best way to play a game as well. You know, faster loading times and things like that. But
trouble is sometimes as well with your connection, like you and your old connection.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Well, for me,
it would have been quicker for you to actually drive to the shop and buy the game
for me,
to download it.
My max internet speed I can achieve is like 3.9 megaseconds, and I don't even get that. Like I probably average about 2.5 megs. So for me to download a hit title,
back in the Stone Age in the UK,
you know, let's say Destiny 2, and that's, you know, a flipping 55 gig download for.
You got to leave the console on for 2 days.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be able to play that game for 2 whole days.
Is it Star Citizen that's coming out with a 100 gig?
Yeah, 100 gig patch.
Well, you know these consoles that come out as well. PlayStation can change the hard drive.
Yeah. They made it easy this time around.
Whereas Xbox, you can't, can you?
Fixed 500 gig.
Fixed 500 gig. Now, surely they've shot themselves in the foot with that.
Well, they've said that you can use external storage of Xbox.
Apparently, you can plug in USB hard drives.
You can't
PS4. Well, apparently, you can on Microsoft. But the games themselves are massive.
Yeah. At the minute,
you find like 6 games and your hard drive's full.
Yeah. On my PS4, I've got 5-6 games that is full.
At the minute,
Battlefield over 60 gig.
You can get a 2 terabyte, 2.5 inch drive that you put in to PS4.
But mate, that was the case while we had the disc before. But obviously, games being as graphical they are now, you can't put it all on a disc.
No. The reason what happens now with disc-based games on consoles is you install the disc, and just like a PC, all the data is put onto the hard drive, and the disc is literally the activation key to start the game. That's exactly the same. There's no disc spinning anymore. There's nothing that gets read. It's all read from the hard drive.
Just want to pick up on Jojo's point there. He said, playing devil's advocate, wouldn't an online only and removal of the used market enable console game makers to increase sales percentage because of added overall revenue, because there's no sort of resale loss in the market?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Well, there was a big thing. That's why when this console generation kicked off, Microsoft said that you could only like tie your games to your accounts, and there was like codes on the disc that locked games to sort of 5 user accounts, so you could perhaps pass it between your friends and family or whatever, and not be able to sell it on, because they were basically trying to kill the used games market. But Sony stepped in and said, well, that's a shit idea, because you've just got loads of flack for it, so we're going to allow you to carry on doing it. So yeah, in a way, the games industry is still enabling a used market, which, as mentioned, could cut into the profit, profits of any potential digital future.
That's the problem, though, isn't it? The used market cuts into the profits of the developer, but also gives them more reach for their game to get out. So it's a bit
because you've got many families out there that can't afford to buy a game on release. Many.
But then there's people
have to borrow them off people.
we borrow them or rent them. I mean, but there's also the companies now that are renting the games.
I don't see right. You know, a couple of years ago, some people probably will disagree with me because it was a bit of an arsehole move, but when EA and other companies, I think Sony as well, Microsoft, they give you an online activation key. So like on,
don't they do that with FIFA or
like on
whatever it is,
PC games, you know, or old PC games. I don't know what they're like now because DRM's mental on PCs these days. But you'd have an online activation key. You'd activate your copy, and then you could play that game online continuously until the game went offline. Then the next person who bought the game would only get the campaign, and they'd have to buy an online pass to play online.
Yeah.
That was the way of offsetting the loss that they were making in the used games market, which was the right way about going about killing the used game market, because people would then be thinking, oh well, it's 30 quid to buy it on the store, or it's 30 quid to buy it pre-owned, but I'll have to spend another 5-10 quid to get online.
They did that with quite a few games I've seen.
That's a legitimate way of controlling the used game market.
Yeah, but
not the way Microsoft were heading, where they said basically you cannot play used games, or you can only play like an hour time trial, and then you have to pay to unlock the rest of the game. Like, that was a legitimate way of severely limiting the used game market. But then you've got places like Game, who is the only big retailer in the UK, kicking off because their revenue stream is used games, not brand new games. So it swings and roundabouts. But again, they should.
Konnichiwa, is that not
that's
Japanese? Konnichiwa.
But then, you know, to argue the point in the opposite direction, there wouldn't be a need for a used games market. If you could buy a game for 30 quid brand new from the store, you wouldn't be able to trade it in or swap it.
It's a very complicated economy.
It's a knife's edge they're walking on. There's no easy way to come up with a solution.
Rob, do you speak Japanese? Hi Ken Kai Ken.
That's the guy's name.
So it is.
Should have gone to Specsavers.
Sorry, dude.
Oh dear.
I actually thought he was speaking Japanese for a second. I didn't read the guy's name.
Can't tell you've been asleep all day.
Well, that JoJo was what Microsoft were basically suggesting when the Xbox One was first announced. That kind of system where they were going to put in place to completely limit you from buying the game. So you could buy a used game, play a certain portion of the storyline. They'd know that was allocated to another account because each disc had a specific code on it or something. And that was Microsoft's whole point with that. They were trying to kill that market, but
some fact I didn't know. No, did you guys know Konami means my wife in Norway?
No. I didn't know that. No,
not a clue.
I just assumed Konami meant money robbers.
Yeah, money.
I thought Konami meant solely producing Metal Gear Solid.
Guy on the far left looks like he should be in a boy band.
Is that
That'll
me?
be you.
Well, yeah, because
Yes.
I'm
screen left.
I'm the far left, but
yeah.
screen left. He is the far left. Yeah, he is in a boy band. Yeah.
The Go Tokyo Boys.
Yeah. Should be in a boy band.
Oh dear. I think we're at an hour and 29 now. We're coming to the end. So I just want to thank everybody for taking part in the chat.
Thanks, guys.
And the
sorry I couldn't do a quick boy band-esque solo.
Yeah. We'll cut it off before you start singing. But yeah,
we don't actually include air guitar in the stream.
But yeah, thanks for the follows. Thanks for the
thanks for listening, guys.
The chat.
We actually
good points.
We actually do one of these podcasts every month now. We used to do them weekly,
but there was no interaction with those.
It's with the weekly ones we used to do all YouTube, right?
Yeah.
So we actually do a monthly podcast now live on stream. So obviously we can have the viewers integrating with us. We find this obviously better than
it's a better format.
Than the YouTube. Plus,
it's better when we don't get flamed on Twitch chat as well.
Yeah, massively. Plus also, this is at the moment a hobby more. So we'd love it to be.
It's a pastime. Yeah,
we'd love it to be a job, in a sense.
Yeah, talking shit
all day long. But real world, it's not. We all have to work. It's hard to be around each other at the same time. So yeah, we stream once a month. We will get together. Obviously, if you follow us, you will have a nice notification, let you know when we go live. But if you pop on our Facebook, we also have a website, right?
Yeah, BotRokkit.com.
BotRokkit.com. That isn't in the little screen thing down the bottom. But yeah, we have a Rokkit.com as our website, and if you pop on our Facebook, give us a like, or so you can. We will also pop on Twitter or Facebook.
Yeah.
When we'll be
YouTube.
streaming.
YouTube. We're all over the place.
We're all over the place.
Like
YouTube.
a plague.
If you, we don't just do podcasts neither. If you pop onto our YouTube,
Yeah, reviews, let's plays.
there's
channel
let's plays,
interviews.
there's let's plays, there's reviews on games, there's us being dickheads, there's plenty.
That's just mainly you. Though,
Mainly
so
me. There's raging. There's plenty.
Mainly you.
Mainly me again. There's plenty to be viewed. So
Bottle rot kit.
Rokkit. Okay.
But yeah, thanks for the follows, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Much appreciated.
Thanks for the follows, and we will see you again
Catch
soon.
you next time.
Cheers, guys.